Okay, so today I am going to show you an absolutely outrageous and baseless Donald Trump lie, but I'm going to do something else. I'm going to show you the genesis of the lie. I'm going to show you the evolution of the lie, how it becomes more and more dishonest over time. And we, in a sense, to quote Donald Trump, we're going to look at the oranges of this lie, or as I like to call them, the origins of this lie. So Donald Trump spoke yesterday, I believe it was, maybe it was late on Monday. And it was complete diarrhea of the mouth. I mean, just endless lie after lie after lie. I'll give you the most sort of cartoonish lie first, which we'll be focusing on, which is that when Donald Trump became president, the military was out of ammunition. I know that may come as a surprise to many of you in the audience who are aware of how much money we spend on the military. But Trump's claim is the military had no ammunition when he became president, but he fixed that. Take a look at this.
We, all together, we defeated and took over 100% of the ISIS caliphate. Everybody said that was going to be an impossible thing to do. I did it, and I did it quickly because we have a great military now. When I took over our military, we didn't have ammunition. I was told by a top general, maybe the top of them all, "Sir, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have ammunition." I said, "I'll never let another president have that happen to him or her." We didn't have ammunition. Now we've captured ISIS. We've done what we've done. We had 50 soldiers in the area you're talking about.
By the way, no one said it would be impossible to defeat ISIS. That's like another lie. When the Obama administration was getting ready to exit, I said many, many times, and so did others, that we are sort of on a trajectory for, at least with regard to its territory, the caliphate, as some like to call it, of ISIS, we are heading towards the destruction of that. The question will be, how do we deal with radicalized cells that are disconnected? But whether it was Hillary or Trump, what Trump is talking about, the elimination of the caliphate, was likely to happen. Either way, I said it, many people said it. But Trump says we had no ammunition when he became president. He fixed it. And now, lo and behold, we have captured ISIS. We'll get back to that. That's the lie I will show you the evolution of. But a few other choice lies by Donald Trump from this very strange speech. Donald Trump claiming, of course, with no evidence, that his poll numbers are up 17 points in the last 3 days. Now, when he says his poll numbers, does he mean hypothetical 2020 polling? Does he mean approval polling? We never know. And of course, the reason we never know is because it is made up. He has nothing to back this up. It's obviously untrue.
This is a scam. And the people are wise to it. And that's why my polls went up. I think they said 17 points in the last 2 or 3 days. I've never had that one.
Yeah, so no, I mean, it didn't happen. And then here is Donald Trump saying total falsehoods about Adam Schiff. These are even less coherent. It's more difficult to even understand what allegations Trump is making here, but they're all very much untrue. Take a look.
Adam Schiff should be investigated for what he did. He took to the great chamber, Congress, and he made a speech. And his speech was a fraud. Everything he said was a fraud. He went out as though I wrote it. He defrauded the American people. He defrauded Congress. He defrauded himself and his family. He made a speech with a horrible speech. I said, what's going on here? I think he's having some kind of a breakdown because he got up and made a speech that bore no relationship to what the conversation was.
You can tell Trump is kind of making it up as he goes along, and none of that stuff is true. So let's go back now to the ammunition claim. Let's look at the oranges of this lie. Where did Donald Trump's lie that the military was out of ammunition until Trump fixed it come from to begin with? This is the genesis of that lie, the evolution of the bogus story. I think you'll find this interesting. So, of course, it's not true that the year Trump became president, the U.S. military was out of ammunition. In 2016, the U.S. spent more than $600 billion on the military. Much of that went to ammunition. We had plenty of ammunition already, although it is true that Barack Obama had slightly trimmed the amount of military spending in some areas. Okay, so Donald Trump's story started with, way back then, when I met with General Mattis, he came to me and he said, we are low on ammo. Now, we don't even know if that's true, right? It's possible that it's totally made up. It's possible that Mattis went to Trump and said, listen, we are behind on the accumulation of a certain type of ordinance. It may not even have been, again, if it's true, it may not even have been because Barack Obama wasn't spending enough money. It may have been a supply issue. It could have been, who knows, right? But it started with Mattis came to me and said, we are low on ammo. Trump has then exploded the military budget. So it's probably true that Donald Trump has spent a lot more money on ammunition. Trump took that story, which may have a kernel of truth in it, or it may not, like we don't even know, and then expanded the lie to say, well, Mattis said we have low/no ammunition. Okay, that was he always has to go to the next step. Here's Trump expanding it to, it wasn't just low, it was low/no ammunition.
Sorry for the first time today. A general came into my office, and my first few weeks, you remember, it was a little dangerous out there. President Obama left us with a few beauties, right? And I said to this general, you better be prepared because this is looking like it could really be conflict. And he looked at me and he goes, sir, we have very little ammunition. I said, say it again. And I want to tell you, the words very little he didn't use because it was less than that. And I said, I never want to see a president in a position like that where we may have conflict and a general looks at him and said, we have very little/no ammunition. I never want a president of the United States to be in that position.
Okay, so Mattis supposedly saying we are low, we don't even know if that's true, becomes Mattis said we are low/out of ammunition. Okay, this is the first evolution of this lie. Then 4 days later, Donald Trump upgrades to we had no ammunition at all.
I've rebuilt the military. Scott and I were talking about that. We spent $1.5 trillion. When I came in, our military was depleted. Frankly, we didn't have ammunition, okay? But our military was in very bad shape.
And then now, in about a 1 month period, it all becomes we had no ammo and I fixed it. I got us ammo. And because of that, I was able to defeat the caliphate of ISIS in the Middle East. When again, the kernel of possible truth is maybe Mattis said we were low, possibly about some particular kind of ammunition. Unclear if it's because of anything Barack Obama had done, right? Could have been a supply issue, could have been anything. And that possible kernel of truth becomes Trump endlessly repeating that we had no ammunition and he got us ammunition. And that's the ammunition that was, by the way, ammunition, right? I mean, like what an unsophisticated term to even be using. That is the ammunition that got us the defeat of the caliphate of ISIS in the Middle East, thanks to the great Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. The genesis of a lie, okay? Understand how it works. These people will stop at nothing. He will say anything. It doesn't matter whether it has a grain of truth, a kernel of truth or not. Question for you. Do you believe that Donald Trump has convinced himself that the latest, most extreme version of the story is true? Or do you think that Trump knows that he is exaggerating this story, which possibly is not based in any actual reality? Let me know. I'm on Instagram at @DPakman. The show is on Instagram at David Pakman Show.